Tracking refers to the habit of recording every single expense you make over a certain period of time, and then organizing each one of them into categories. This is crucial because it gives you a clear understanding of where your money is going, and it allows you to make smarter decisions with your finances. This is important for a few key reasons. The first one, I've already said it. It gives you a clear understanding of where your money is going so that you can see what it's truly eating into your budget. The second reason is that it helps you spot spending trends and patterns, which is crucial for identifying areas where you might be overspending. You probably heard about lifestyle inflation, which is the tendency to spend more and more as your income increases. And yes, tracking won't completely stop this, because for some areas like healthcare or family needs, they tend to naturally grow, but it will surely help you spotting those areas where you're spending more than you should. And then once you see this, you can start making adjustments. Another major benefit is that tracking helps making budgeting way more effective, but I will get into that later. Let's focus on tracking for now. When I talk about tracking every single expense, I mean every single expense. Nothing should be left out. This message is especially for those people who are struggling financially speaking, because if you're barely scraping through the month or you find yourself unable to save money, the first step towards improving your financial situation isn't investing or trading cryptos, it's tracking and budgeting. I know it might sound simple, but tracking alone can often be enough to reduce already your expenses. Most of us, in fact, don't really realize how much we are spending in some categories. First example is groceries. Are you sure that you know exactly how much you're spending in groceries every month? Because most people tend to think they spend like $300, but it's probably closer to $500, and that's already a $200 difference. The other example is subscriptions. Take streaming services as an example, such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, or even Spotify, and you could find yourself spending maybe hundreds of dollars every year without even noticing. So now that you hopefully understand why tracking is so important, let's talk about how you can do it. There not really is a one-size-fits-all methods here. You have to experiment here. You have to make adjustment so that the system fits your life the best. First of all, you will have to decide how detailed you want to be. Do you want to track every tiny expense? For example, that $1 coffee that you take once a week? Or do you maybe prefer rounding everything to the nearest $10? You decide what works for you. Some people get very specific with categories, while others prefer a simpler approach, which is just wants versus needs. Personally, I go somewhere in the middle. I feel that too many categories can become overwhelming, while on the other hand, too few can't give you a full picture. For example, in my own Excel sheet, I decide to track these categories. The first one is car, which is divided into gas and maintenance. The second one is education, which is mainly my university costs, but also like books or courses. Then there is, sadly, cigarettes. I told you guys I want to be as transparent as possible. Then there is entertainment, such as movie, events, or when I go out with friends. And then there is the final category, which is other, where I put those tiny little expenses that don't really fit into any of the other categories. I also track two others special categories. The first one is the money that I invested to start my YouTube channel, and the other one is financial fees, such as bank charges or credit fees. Now, here is the most important part. You need to track every expense, with no exceptions. I get it, it can be overwhelming or uncomfortable at first, but here is the deal. The first step in any personal growth journey is being honest with what your starting point is. You can't really make progress until you face the truth, and trust me, the sooner you do it, the better. Don't try to justify ignoring tracking small expenses such as that snack that you didn't need, because the key here is honesty. If you're not comfortable with Excel or Google Sheet or in general any digital tool, don't worry. You can use a simple notebook or a random piece of paper. The point is that you just have to start. And you might be wondering if tracking doesn't take too much time, but the truth is that it really doesn't. Sure, it might take some time to get into the habit of doing it, but once you do it, it's pretty quick. The approach that I use is that I track every expense that I make during the day on my phone, and then I go and enter everything into my spreadsheet every week or at the end of the month. Trust me, for most people, this entire process will take less than an hour per month. A quick tip tip that I want to give you guys is to be cautious with those apps that pretend to track your expenses automatically. Most of these apps link to your bank account and categorize things for you. While this can be convenient on one side, on the other side, their categories aren't really that clear many times, and they may even count those transfers that you do between your own accounts as expenses. Here is my challenge to you. Try and track every expense for the next 3 to 6 months and do it honestly. I guarantee you it will not only improve your financial situation, but also give you better awareness and more peace of mind. Now that you've mastered tracking, let's move on to budgeting. Budgeting is all about planning how to allocate your income. It's the process of making sure you have enough to cover your essential needs while also setting aside money for your goals and future. Once you get used to track your expenses, it becomes very easy to set a budget. For example, if you're spending $300 each month just eating out, you can set the goal to cut that down to $200 the next month and then $100 the month after. Of course, budgeting works best in those areas where spending is flexible. Fixed expenses, such as your mortgage or your car payments, are way harder to change. But if you realize that you're spending too much eating out or in entertainment in general, well, those are the areas where you can start adjusting. Another quick tip that I feel like sharing with you guys is don't go overboard immediately. If you realize that you can cut back some expenses, do it, but do it slowly. Sudden, drastic changes often leads you to burnout. Instead, just do small adjustments till you find the perfect solution for you. A good saving rate target to aim for in general is 20% of your income. If you're not sure how to calculate your saving rate, here is how to do it. Take your savings for the month, divide by income, and then multiply it for 100. For example, if you make $20,000 per year and you manage to save 3,000 of them, your saving rate is 15%. Another tip for beginners is that if you're struggling to save, you need to try the pay yourself first method. Go and open a second bank account, and as soon as you receive your paycheck, transfer a set percentage, like 15% of more, into that account. Then just try living off that 85% of your paycheck that remains. This trains your brain to treat that 85% as your full budget, making it way easier to save over time. That's all for today. I know this can feel overwhelming, but remember, in the end, it's all about creating good habits and gradually improving. If you have any questions or you just feel free to share your saving rate, do it right below in the comments. I'll try to reply to everyone, and I will make sure to pin my personal comment where I share with you guys my saving rate. That's it. Thank you for watching and see you guys in the next video. Bye.